And here we are with number 51. So, you saw, hopefully, the episode prior to this one about the Starcaster by Squire Fender, where it had been in the bag for just about a year since I brought it home from Texas. Now, my buddy Leo down in Texas has a channel, Leo and Dan Ryan. They, Leo basically said, when you get here, I'm going to have a gift for you. He says, I'm going to give you the Starcaster that we did recently on the channel. And he had seen my video a year or more before where I bought the non-Classic Vibes version of this guitar in black. And it was basically a total piece of crap. And I sent it back. I don't send many guitars back. I think that was one. And I'm having trouble remembering another one. I think there was one more, but I can't remember what it was. Anywho, so he says to me, I'm going to send you home with this one. He says, I think it's much better than the one you tried. Dan likes it really a lot. So I said, okay, I saw the video. I said, are you sure? He says, oh yeah. He says, the only thing that, you're going to have to get for yourself is a bag. So I said, okay. So I went online, and if you watched any of that episodes from back last June, you know that I bought a bag on Amazon.com, had it shipped to his house, so that when I got there and they presented me with this guitar, I had a bag to bring it home with. And I got it across the border, duty free, for once. Anywho, I brought this thing home, and I did do some work on it. I changed the electric wiring so that they're independent on the volumes. I left all the electrics in there. I can't remember what else I did. I think I cleaned it. And even though I watched my own videos, I know there was two or three of them, about stuff that I did with this thing, and I can't really remember everything. But I did not do a fret job. And I can't remember for the life of me how I missed that, because it's usually the one big thing that needs to be done on every budget guitar you get. Now this one's in the higher price range of budget guitars. I mean, even in the States, this is in the $500 price range. Maybe more. Here, they're like $699 when you can get them on a good day. But even though, I mean, in that price range of guitars, I've had other guitars at $700. ERT, I've got an ERT guitar that was $700. I paid almost $700 for a Zue. But it doesn't matter if you pay $200, $150, and like my buddy J-Man recently did a Mexican Strat for $1,000. They're all the same. They all need setups out of the box. They all need some kind of a fret work, whether it's ends and or fret leveling, shimming of the neck, truss rod adjustments, sometimes changing the tuners. These ones have not been changed. They're good. Pickups, sometimes electrics. For me, most of the time, the electrics that come in, even the cheapest of the guitars, I mean, it's just a potentiometer, some wire, and a capacitor or two. And it doesn't really matter what version of those components you put in a guitar. They're basically all the same. They will all perform the same in such insignificant amount of voltages produced by single pickups, especially a little bit more by humbuckers, but still insignificantly in the at the best, millivolt regions. Millivolt regions, okay? That's 3 decimal points to the left, you know, in the numerical scale. So, yeah, you don't really have to worry about that stuff too much. I did put this American style string tree on here. Now, Ted was talking about, Ted Talks Guitars in Life. He was talking about these string trees this morning, and these are built small enough that the point at which the string touches them, the friction is extremely small, and therefore I consider these to be the best. The roller ones also have a very small point with the rolling cylinders on the ends. They also have a very small point, a little bit larger than this, but they will roll as you move the string a little bit, so they're, again, non-binding. Somebody made a comment about a 1964 Fender that has an original butterfly on it, but those butterflies back then were made very thick. They were smoothed off. Yes, the friction point on the bottom is longer, but if you check the bottom of those things, you'll find out that there's no sharp edges. And they're okay, right? They will work, no problem. All they do is hold the string down, but they don't bind. But these butterflies that come on these budget guitars, I mean, from even $1,000, okay? I don't consider $1,000 a budget guitar. Although these days they seem to be. Those butterflies are very thin metal, and they're stamped out with you know, a mechanical machine. They're all stamped, tunk, 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 and then they're shaped in that butterfly thing, and they're stamped into that shape. Butterflies, the new butterflies suck. Every guitar you get, take them off. Okay, sharp edges on the bottom of stamped metal that nobody smooths off. Now, I'd even tried filing some here. I think I got a couple pretty good, but still, this is so much easier to do. Throw it away. I don't use the pip on the bottom of these. I just cut it off, sand it down smooth, and install it just like the ones with the roller. They have no pips on them. It doesn't need a pip. It stays where you put it. Okay, back to this guitar. This nut, I can't remember if I changed it. I think I did. I think that's one of the things I did. It's a bone now. I don't think it was bone when I got it. I can't remember for sure. But this has been out for a week now, since I took it out. It is a very pretty guitar for a Sunburst, which, you know, I really don't care for Sunburst guitars. Leo does. He's bought many Sunburst guitars. I put these speed knobs on here, I think. The original ones were the top hat type, I believe. I prefer this much better. Alright, so the original switch and everything is there. And now, there is really no buzzing. There is one issue, though, with this guitar, in that the string spacing at the bottom edge is kind of close to the edge of the guitar. And I am able to easily pull it off the bottom. So this is one problem I don't think I'm going to be able to solve on this guitar. So yes, when I go to the bottom string, I have to be careful not to do any kind of a downward motion on it. I got to keep it going up. It is a very pretty guitar. I love the vintage, you know, color on the neck. And now that it works, I like it. I like the sound even more. I did do some work over the past week with these pickups. I put those screw heads down into the cover like they normally should be. I have done some adjustments and with the pickups height, and now that we're at this point, I think this guitar is 100%, 100% of what it could be, 100%, and I'm happy that I was able to keep the roller bridge on there as opposed to putting the original back on, which probably would have worked fine after I cut the grooves properly for the sizes of the strings and filed them smooth, because the bridge that came on it was a decent beefy bridge, right? The hardware was solid. And then we come, to the overall sound of the pickups, and are they the best pickups ever? No. I've got humbuckers that sound better to my ears. Like Ted says, whatever you like is what you like. But I know that there are humbuckers that would sound better than these. I chose not to try to go after them because of I wasn't sure that these wide range types would take a proper, just standard humbucker the same. Someday I might try that if I live long enough, just to see, but for now it's good. And for what they are, you use them as it is. Okay, now we're going to keep everything up, and it's been sitting on the rack here for about 4 or 5 days, and every time I've picked it up and checked it, it was in tune. So it's holding tune very well now that everything's stretched and I've done some, all this stuff to it. And we're going to just see what that sounds like. So we're going to go bridge. And this is standard My 65 Deluxe reverb, no pedals. Now this bridge pickup doesn't have mud. The neck pickup has a little bit to my ear, not as bad as I've had in some humbuckers, but it does. Okay, so we'll go up the chain to see the warmness. Now I've got them, like I said, set up in height for balancing output sound, and even with that neck pickup lowered more than usual, you can't see because of the pickguard, it still has mud. Like I said, not as bad as I've had on some other humbuckers. With my tube screamer set up modestly, it doesn't sound that bad. Because you can do some tone shaping there. Okay. My Demon FX tube screamer set exactly the same way as the Joyo. Sounds exactly the same. One difference though, on the Joyo with the tone knob all the way clockwise, I get a hissing from the power supply, but not on the Demon FX. US Dream Joyo, tone has to be full clockwise on this one to keep it out. Distortion is at 9 o'clock and the volume is 11. That adds girth to the mid-range. My absolute zero fuzz girth like the US Dream, but a little less bassiness in it. The Dolamo, I didn't even bother with changing it, whatever's on there. The Dolamo is a really heavy fuzz, right? I've mentioned this before. That's for the commenter that asked me for some dirt. Got some dirt for ya. Now just to clean boost a little bit with my band controller. So you can do a lot with this guitar once it's set up to your liking. So I'm just going to try my hand at a little free-for-all. Tube Screamer. I missed that slide. US Dream added. Okay, turn those puppies off. That was Tube Screamer into the US Dream. So yeah, it plays good now. Gotta watch that. Slipping off the edge. But yeah, there's a sweet spot in the center with, depending on the effects that you center pick up, I should say, position, with those two in full parallel. I did not choose to split the coils, even though the option is there with the 4 wires. I forgot to mention that. I decided just to leave it as it was instead of trying to split it and frailing it to make it come up a little bit and all that extra work, when it really wasn't going to be that much better doing that than just leaving it the way it is and making do. Making do. And it'll make do some things. It sits like a 335 style on your leg, which is, I guess, what Fender designed this to be, a 335 competitor. The bending is a little bit different on this one to get the next pitch up. It feels different because of the scale length. But other than that, once you get used to it, if you're not jumping back and forth between them, you don't notice. And so, this is my 51. Thanks to Mr. Leo Ryan in Texas. Thank you, buddy. I do now appreciate the finished product way more than when it came out of the box, which proves the point that doesn't matter what name is on the headstock, you got to do some work on new guitars. It's just a fact. If you go and spend $10,000 on a custom shop, maybe not, but you buy one out of a box, you're going to have to do work. That's it for this time. Appreciate all your support, guys. Catch you in the next one.